hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifested. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that you see on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming you've already read the latest Boruto manga chapter, or you're one of those brave anime only fans who don't really give a damn about spoilers. And with all that being said, though, if you're still here, I'm assuming you're good with the spoilers. So I think that we need to have this very real conversation now that Naruto is once again knocked unconscious. Like, the whole time we've been worried about Sasuke being out of chakras, Sasuke's chakra reserves were in witness protection program. The whole time it was all a distraction. Naruto was the one that was in real dire straits. So in the last Boruto chapter, we saw it how Naruto was looking at Isshiki be destroyed. Naruto was barely able to stand up in the aftermath of everything, and you had this moment where Naruto looked utterly exhausted. Most of us thought Naruto would be able to shake it off and kind of get back to business as usual, but in this new Boruto chapter, Naruto's struggling to maintain consciousness. He has a line where he says that his whole body feels like it's made out of lead. Naruto's flat out saying that this is not good, and then Naruto just crumples down, and it's in the aftermath of all this that Sasuke walks up to Naruto and he says, wait a second, this isn't right. And what I like here is the fact that if they are going this route, if they're paying off all this stuff that we've seen in terms of Naruto having to pay a huge price for using this Baryon form, this new form, which a lot of people are mistaken, saying, oh my god, this is just like the chakra illness. I'm gonna do a whole video explaining the differences on that, but a big thing to kind of keep in mind is that Naruto's transformation, there are very specific things that make this different from any other Biju form that we've seen Naruto use. And one of the things you have to kind of keep in mind is the fact that Naruto and Kurama's chakra both were being used as a way to fuel this new transformation, and this new transformation was consuming it. And you guys should have already seen the video that I put out yesterday, why Naruto's actually closer to death than a lot of us have ever imagined. And so when you look at this possibility of Kakashi returning as Hokage, I think there's a very real possibility, because let's look at it for a second. So Naruto is in a situation where Naruto could be out of commission for a long time. Who knows if it's something as small as like he's just out for a couple of days, like after we saw after the first Jigen fight, or because of the severity of the situation, because in a lot of ways it actually mirrors what you saw with Tsunade when she saved the entire Hidden Leaf Village. Tsunade completely collapsed because her chakra was drained damn near to absolute zero. So I say that to say, if we have a scenario to where just as Tsunade was out of commission for an extended period of time, if Naruto's out of it, I think they kind of have to go with Kakashi, because let's look at the things that we do know. We do know that by the events of the time skip, there was not a new Hokage face added to it, which means that the 2 8th Hokage candidates that we have, jokes aside, obviously it's not 10-10, but jokes aside on that, you have Shikamaru, who is an 8th Hokage candidate, and you have Sakura, who's an 8th Hokage candidate. Those are the two characters confirmed to be the candidates as next in line for 8th Hokage. And so given the fact we didn't see either one of their faces on the Hokage monument, it's safe to say that, to assume that either Naruto reassumes the mantle Hokage, which is the most likely outcome, or we have a scenario to where Kakashi steps back in as the Hokage. And given the circumstances that we're in right now, it actually makes a lot of sense, because we have that line that Ikimoto said about 1.5 years ago, where Ikimoto said that he knows where the story's going forward because it's been given to him, and Ikimoto says like, oh yeah, Kakashi's a very popular character, but it's kind of odd that we've never actually seen Kakashi show up, and there have been so many different ways speculating on how Kakashi could actually be used. This is actually a nice way to pay homage to what we actually saw in the earlier parts of Naruto, to where the 3rd Hokage was the Hokage in the village, even though there was a 4th Hokage. And so this would be a good way to kind of mirror what you saw in part 1 of Naruto. I think that that's actually a little bit of brilliant writing right there, because if you look at it, if you stay in character, Shikamaru will take over the responsibilities of Hokage if he wants to. Shikamaru has definitely changed in that time since Asuma said you would make a really good Hokage. but you would probably find the job to be way too troublesome, and it would not be something that you would aspire towards. But if that's something that your heart was on, you would make a really good Hokage. And coming from someone like Asuma, that's actually one hell of a compliment, because again, Asuma was the son of Hokage. When you look at Sakura, Sakura's got the maturity for it, and she's certainly got the name recognition. And yet at the same time, given how much responsibility Sakura has inside the village, as well as Sakura's extended responsibilities outside the ninja world, which if you read Sakura Hiden, you'll get an idea of where Sakura began to start picking up extra responsibilities at. But the fact is that they're Kage candidates, but I don't think that either one of them was a realistic option. And so when you look at Kakashi, everything's there. Shikamaru's likely probably not going to want to take up the position unless he has to. As a short term, yes, but given the fact they have no idea when Naruto's going to wake up, more than likely Shikamaru's not going to want that long-term responsibility. When you look at Sakura, the same thing. Sakura's got way too much on her plate, so Kakashi's the next man up, because Kakashi was the predecessor for Hokage. He's a little over 20 years younger than Tsunade at this point. Tsunade is in her 70s in the Boruto era, and so it'll be one of those things where yes, Tsunade probably could take over, but at the same time, even with Tsunade's advanced chakra control, you would do better to have somebody that is on the younger side who also has extreme chakra control as well take over the position as Hokage. That way, if you ever have a situation where somebody attacks the village, you'll have somebody that can realistically stand up, especially given the fact that Sasuke is without his Rinnegan now, and Naruto looks like he's out of commission and could potentially no longer have Kurama. So all the signs are there that now all of a sudden it makes a lot of sense for Kakashi, because all of a sudden Kakashi is one of the most powerful ninja in the village. He already was, but when you have these severe nerfs that are coming to Naruto and Sasuke, with Sasuke all of a sudden no longer having the Rinnegan, no longer having those overpowered jutsu, no longer having the basic 6 paths jutsu, all of a sudden Sasuke just has the EMS. Naruto, if you take away the Kyuubi's chakra, Naruto has chakra from all the other 8 Biju, and yet at the same time, it's only a small portion of their chakra. So it's one of those things where all of a sudden, like ninja like Kakashi and Rock Lee, they're very, very important ninja. Hell, even Sakura is an important ninja for battle purposes in terms of battle strength. So I think having a brilliant mind like Kakashi be the one that the village kind of coalesces through this time, as well as a familiar face taking back the role of Hokage for the short-term period, it adds more to stability, because you have to remember that at this point in the timeline, Naruto's only been Hokage for a few years now, so you don't want to have a scenario to where you get another Hokage. This is one of those things where it makes a lot more sense, in my opinion. If you go to an 8th Hokage after this time period, it's one of those things where you could kind of upset the day-to-day operations in terms of the villagers' security, in terms of how they feel safe. So returning to a prior Hokage that was Hokage for a long time, you could just pass that off as one of those things where the previous Hokage's taking a more heavy role, and you keep Naruto's situation at a bit of a under wraps thing on a need to know basis. I think that that's something that could work, because seeing Kakashi go out there in the village doing certain things, that's not something that's going to shock people. However, I want to know from you guys, how do you guys feel about this? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.